All right, I'm going to talk about Doom Tower because right now the Dark Fae is the current rotation, and for me, this is the most important one because of the gear that you can get from this tower. There's a specific gear set that is in the most highest demand as far as I'm concerned. Now, there are three different rotations on the Doom Tower, and there's a way of toggling between hard and normal. I will go into hard and play as far as I can. I can currently clear all of it, but when I first was starting to play Raid Shadow Legends, I would start off as hard until I couldn't get anywhere, and then I would switch over to normal. Now, the stage that I'm talking about, which has the amazing gear, is going to be this one right here. So let's go in and take a look at that. And the reason why this is so important, and this is the Dark Fae, the reason why this is so important is because of the lethal gear. Lethal gear is of the highest importance because it will give ignore defense and crit chance. And there's a couple gear sets that do that. And this one is going to be one of the more important ones, in my opinion. That along with Merciless, but there are advantages to this particular gear set, which I'm going to show here in a minute. Now, if you've not done so already, click the link in the description because you're going to get your journey started off right. We got Corrado, Ugo, Muslim Mage, Deacon, and be sure to get promo code Demon Slayer for Tholen, who's that guy right there who wrecks nerds. And we're also using Deacon. So you can see right here, we're actually running two of the champions that you can get by using the link. So this boss is kind of annoying, kind of tricky to get through because basically you mirror your team on the other side, and then there's a way of them stealing one of your characters, and then you got to get through her. And you know, there's always a risk, see right there, that if you take two good characters in, they'll kill your team. So it's kind of tricky. I do like Loki and Geomancer here. See right there, the opposing Tholen, which I just got back, could have wiped me out. Absolutely. Now, lethal gear is super, super important. It's a 4-piece set. I need as much of it as I can get. I've heard in-game players talk about that this is the Doom Tower that they're hyper fixated on for getting gear, and it's going to be this particular boss. And I'm going to say only farm this gear from her because it's of highest importance. And the reason why it's so important is that in arena, quite often you want to have stone skin and the lethal gear. And if you just use Merciless, you're not going to be able to do that because Merciless is to get the same similar effect to that of lethal. You're going to have to run a 6-piece, then you can't do stone skin. So I'm going to show you the build that I'm using on one of my favorite champions. Is the champion that I got for free inside of Chimera, and that champion is going to be Empress. So Empress is currently my favorite champion. It just is, absolutely. And you can see right here, I am running lethal, a 4-piece of lethal, and a 4-piece of stone skin. And this is going to be a standard thing. Now, the reason why lethal is amazing is it has ignore 25% defense, and it has crit rate 10%. Now, there is another piece that you could farm a little bit easier, and that is going to be cruel, which is just ignore 25% of enemy defense and does not have the 10% crit rate. Now, the other one that in a lot of ways is just outright better is going to be Merciless. This is my favorite gear set right here because this will give 35% ignore defense, which is super powerful. Now, I can't express how important ignore defense is. Damage goes through the roof when you get closer and closer to the pure damage. It's absolutely bonkers. So there's a couple things to keep in mind. You almost always want to max out crit rate, and you get as crit damage as high as possible and get as much of this ignore defense as possible. So Merciless will give you 35%. And then you can get other ones right here with Cat's Gaze, which will give you another 10%. And you got some relics that'll give another 3% if they're under 2 or more debuffs. And then in the masteries, you got the right here, what is it called? Helm Smasher. Has a 50% chance ignoring 25% of the target's defense. For the skills ignore defense, 25 is in addition to the amount ignored by this skill. So that is super, super important. So a lot of times I've heard that in-game players, aren't necessarily interested in the gear that one gets from the Doom Towers, because you get a little bit each place, but they're hyper fixated on Dark Fae, which is also going to be the boss up here at the top. So when you get all to the top, then it will be doing that. Now, I do not go and do the secret rooms at all. I save all of those keys until I get to the very top, and then I start popping them off and going crazy on that, because that's going to be the best gear. And even when I'm down here, like today, I will not be going in here against Bommel. I will be solely going in against Dark Fae. Now, I have heard that Bommel is of super annoyance, and a lot of people have challenges with getting through Bommel. And my suggestion is to use characters like Vogoth and use Vogoth in the last slot. And it kind of falls in the alignment of Geomancer plus 4 support characters. I think Vogoth is pretty important against Bommel. Geomancer just seems really good in Doom Tower against all the bosses. And then I have 3 other supports, and you could take your 3 other supports, you could do it. But in general, if you come across a boss in Doom Tower, the first place that I would go would be Geomancer plus 4 supports, just to get through it if possible. And then I'm going to run my keys no matter what, and I'm going to solely focus on Fae, and then I'll make it to the top. And then once I get to the top, I'm only going to be farming this node here, and then I will also be collecting all the keys. I'm not going to be collecting the keys now until I get to the top. So that's my general strategy for Doom Tower. Big fan of the rewards inside of Doom Tower, and that is the gear. And I will save that lethal gear right here until clan versus clan. And the next clan versus clan that is happening will be on upcoming Tuesday, and it's the personal rewards one. So classic versus clan happens every 2 weeks, and there's really no other use to get points for events outside of clans versus clan for forging gear. So I typically will save all of my gear to forge for clan versus clan. One of them has personal rewards, and that's the one to be really fixated on, which is the next one. So they alternate. So they happen every 2 weeks, and essentially one of them a month is the personal rewards, and that is the one to go hard on for sure. So I hope you got something useful out of the video. If you did, leave a like. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that great stuff. And also, if you have not downloaded Raid Shadow Legends already, use my link, because you're going to get a lot of great champions. 2 of them I was using in this video today, Deacon Armstrong at level 40, and then promo code Demon Slayer to get Tholen, who's the best. Bye for now.